We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are conducting life-changing research that solves the problems of today. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Hey, welcome to the POMcast with Stephen Willis. We're going to start in a few minutes, but I want to tell you to hit up our social sites, retweet, share, comment, like, do all of that stuff. It can only help us out and it'll make the show even better. But we're getting ready to give you a lot of good Ole Miss information, and I just thought I would tell you that because the POMcast is starting. Well, it's starting right now. Wait, no, that's a little early. It is starting right about now. All right, welcome to the POMcast on this Thursday morning. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy that you're here as well. I do want to really celebrate the fact that we're back on streaming on Twitter. You can catch us there now. The live stream will be there, or you can participate in chat there. You can do all the stuff that we used to do, and then whenever Periscope went away and they did their server thing, Restream had a problem with it, but it is back now. So I'm excited about that, and you can catch us over there as well. Before we get started, I do want to tell you about Travel and Cruise World. The number is 1-800-330-7461. Again, that is 1-800-330-7461. Basically, what I'm wanting to do is everybody needs a vacation. We're about 18 months in this at this point. So if you need a vacation and you want a vacation, you want that vacation to be perfect. You want it to not be ruined. And with regulations and rules changing so quickly, it would be nice to have somebody on the ground where you're going that can answer any questions going on. Whether you need masks at Disney or Universal, even over at the beach or any of the other Central Florida attractions, they do that. So that's travelandcruiseworld.com, travelandcruiseworld.com, and you can see Central Florida like a local. Right there. As always, though, you can catch our show on Twitter. You actually watch it now at The Stephen Willis or at Old Positively. Catch us on Facebook at facebook.com/POMcast. We're on YouTube at Positively Ole Miss. Subscribe, hit the bell where those numbers are going up pretty quick. That's pretty awesome to see. But subscribe, hit the bell. Other content like press conferences, greatest games. I mean, even the Archie Manning 1969 Alabama game is on there. So it's on our YouTube page on demand. So check that out. Subscribe, hit the bell if you would. And we're also on Twitch at Positively Ole Miss, all one word. If audio is more your thing, you can catch us at Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and Pandora. So, as you can see, the Twitter feed is back. I'm really excited about that and what we can do moving forward for that. So if you see that in your Twitter timeline, retweet it, share it, like it, do whatever you need to do, and we will pump that out into the ether as this goes. So this is really exciting to do. We're probably going to send to various social accounts after the show to go out so you can catch it on demand. So I'm pretty excited about that. Now, I want to talk to you about a couple of things today. Pretty short show. I'm probably going to give you some time back today. Getting ready for week 0. But what I really want to talk about is the fact that we just need football in our lives. We need week 1. We've talked about everything that needs to be talked about. We've done everything that needs to be done. We just need football back in our lives and affecting us in a positive way. So I'm looking forward to the certain games that are coming up. Look for the Nebraska-Illinois game to be broken down a little bit tomorrow, just to talk about what's happening. The main thing that's going on with Ole Miss right now is number changes. Like Jake Springer has changed to number 1, Otis Reese to number 3, Sam Williams to number 7, things like that. That's probably the big story at the moment in Ole Miss football, but they got a lot of stuff. Because remember, the three tenets to Ole Miss football are competition. That's the number one thing. They're going to compete in everything they do. They're going to have fun. And that's an important part of this. Have fun. Look like you're having fun. And also have an NFL mindset. So basically that means compete with the person next to you. Get ready and do everything you can to get to the league and have fun doing it. Those are the three tenets of Ole Miss football. And as this goes on, you'll be able to see really what that looks like. So I'm just really excited. There's not a lot of news going on. The number changes happen. That's great. Everything's going on. But I do want to talk a little bit about the Alliance. This is one last chance to make fun of the Alliance. We all know it's a nothing burger. It's a nothing. And they want to remove ESPN's power moving forward. But it's no secret and no surprise that the leaders of this are Fox-driven conferences. And that is because Texas and Oklahoma were from a Fox-driven conference. So you remove that inventory, they're trying to get it back. So we explained last night on SEC After Dark, this is what's going on. First of all, they're trying to destabilize the ACC. They have a long-term TV contract that's about 11 years. They want Fox to get involved in that as well. They want Fox to do that. They can raise their money. They can raise their profile. There's a lot of promises right now that are being made. Now, whether or not they come to fruition, who knows? Who knows if any of that is going to happen? But it's something that they are promising to several schools in the ACC in order to, make some money. Some schools like Clemson, for instance. And because they want their money. They see what's happening in the SEC and they're scared to death. Ohio State sees what's happening in the SEC and they're scared to death. Michigan doesn't really matter. USC is seeing what's happening in the SEC and they're scared to death. Honestly, Notre Dame is seeing what's happening and are scared to death. Now, I do have an idea moving forward of how we can improve college football, how we can make college football more enjoyable. And it's a concept that is used around the world, but I want to bring it here. And I do want to show that to you guys. This thing's moving kind of slow at the moment. All right. So we look at my plan to save college football. What I would do is I'd add 4 more teams from the Big 12 and then split it up into divisions as the SEC and the SWC. Now, those will be the equivalent of the Premier League, and at the top, they would make the equivalent of the college football playoff, or however we're determining a national championship going on. So they will play then. At the bottom, you can see the don't necessarily look at the team, but look at what they represent. At the bottom, Mississippi State and Kansas would have to play a relegation playoff game at the same time that these other playoffs are going. Mississippi State against Cincinnati, Kansas against Marshall and that thing, and the winners would get to go to the Premier League, the loser would go down to the next division. At the bottom, you can see the relegation is too deep. At the bottom, I want to put the Sun Belt and maybe the Southern Conference. I know it's FCS, I know what that means, but I'd like to put the Sun Belt and FCS down there, and those guys can compete for that division. So it's a 3-tier system, basically 2 divisions at each tier, with playoffs and implications on both sides of the schedule of what you can do. So we're looking at, like I said, 6 conferences overall, basically. You look at the Southwest Conference portion of the Premier League, it's basically recreating the old Southwest. and a little bit of the Big Eight from back in the day, the Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, and Missouri, and Kansas. That's half of the Big Eight coming in. And then you've got Texas, Arkansas, Texas A&M, and Texas Tech and TCU. That's 5 teams from the old Southwest Conference. The only thing would be LSU moving over that way. And that would make the numbers work. That's kind of where their rivals are living at the moment. But, I mean, you can set it up like that and have a little bit of flexibility moving forward and develop interest at the top of the table and at the bottom of the table. The regular season goes down to, I don't know, we could still keep it at 12 games and just, schedule non-conferences, but the conference standings are what's going to dictate this moving up and down. But, each team plays non-conference games. The division below, each team plays 10. So something like that. But I'm pretty excited about that. To me, it looks pretty cool. It's something that I'm just genuinely excited about. It's kind of fun to think about what's going on. But promotion and relegation in college athletics and regional conferences, because that's where this is headed. National contracts, but regional conferences. The Southeast Conference is going to become, it's not going to become national like the NFL. It's going to become the dominant regional conference with these Power 4 teams. You're going to have the Pac-12 that's going to handle the West Coast. You're going to have the Big Ten, which is going to handle the Midwest. You're going to have the ACC, which is going to handle the Northeast. And then you develop the minor league conferences underneath it, like the Mountain West and the Pac-12 and the WAC, and you can go up and down between them. Big Ten and the MAC, and we would probably add the Ohio Valley in there. The ACC could have a conference as well, but it could do that, and then you could have a coalesced playoff at the end. So it's like an 8-team playoff, but it's 8 teams from getting 2 from each team, each conference's Premier League. So that should be pretty cool. That would definitely gin up interest, and it would make all the money. Just all the money. Absolutely. So let's see. Talking about that. Week 0 is coming up this weekend. Do want to go over Nebraska favored by 7 at Illinois. Opened at 9.5. New Mexico State line kind of stayed where it was. Fresno, the line went up a little bit. It opened at 25.5, went to 27.5, and UCLA a big jump. Opened at 11. It is now at 17. I'm really looking forward to everything that's going on in these week 0 things. I just want football. And a 1 o'clock Eastern kickoff is going to take us to about 4:30. After that, 7 o'clock or so, football takes us to the UCLA game. Not really interested in the New Mexico State and the Fresno State games. Those, I don't really have an interest in UConn. We made a joke about UConn last night, calling it bad high school football, and I stand by that. But these are the lines. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Brett Bielema can do in week 0 against Nebraska. Nebraska's going through some things, and they tried to rail against the Big Ten shutdown last year, and they came back, and it was a whole mess. And now the Big Ten just hates Nebraska, and Nebraska's trying to really thrive. And in this world, what's going on? Honest to goodness, Nebraska should be calling the SEC. But I don't think they want to be in a conference and do whatever they're doing with Texas or A&M or Oklahoma. I just don't think they want to do that. But they should absolutely call the SEC because the Big Ten hates them. I honestly think the Big Ten are the people that turned them in to the NCAA about the practice thing and the analyst thing and all that. I genuinely believe it was the Big Ten. Because that relationship has gotten so contentious. So, interesting. Our lines come courtesy of Vegas Insider as well. So, that is pretty good. All right, we're going to take a short break. short break, and when we come back, we will talk a little bit about week 0 and more what we're looking forward to. We just need football at this point. There's not a lot to talk about. There's not a lot going on. We can make fun of the Alliance a little more if we want to. And we'll probably do 5 or 6 minutes of making fun of the Alliance and everything that's going on. Because, I mean, we're just at that point, really. We're just genuinely at that point. So stick around, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the POMcast. I think I'm going to leave it as it is for the time being. And I'm just really excited. Everything's going on. I'm excited about week 0. I'm excited about Nebraska-Illinois. And I've never been excited about a Nebraska-Illinois game in my life, but I'm excited about that. I'm excited about UCLA. I want to see what UCLA has to work with. Corey Burton last night on SEC After Dark talked about how loaded UCLA was and that Chip Kelly kind of finally has his guys in place to see what's going on. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like. What's the new version of the Chip Kelly offense now that it's not 2010 or 2007 or whenever he was there, before his failed NFL experiment where he went to Philadelphia and San Francisco and all that. But I'm interested to see what those guys will look like, even against a Hawaii team. Todd Graham, there's some Pac-12 roots there, former Arizona State coach, coaching the Rainbow Warriors down in Hawaii. And I want to see how this offense performs. You know, it's a nice service team because LSU comes to town next week. And that's the importance of this game. LSU comes to town next week. And people say you make the most improvement between game 1 and game 2. So that improvement, that jump is going to happen when LSU comes to town. They're going to play at the Rose Bowl. It's going to be a big thing. They're basically Louisiana fans or LSU fans are going to drink Southern Cal out of alcohol because they drink a ton of alcohol and yada, yada, yada. So I'm interested to see what UCLA would look like in game 1, and then I can just kind of look at game 2 because I'm not really ready to pull an upset prediction there. I'm not ready to do that. But that could change after seeing week 1. After you see week 1 and can look at them and genuinely think about how it's supposed to be, what the jump would be when you can actually visualize what that was. Because we all watched enough football. We can all trust our eyes on this one. We can assume what that jump is going to be, and then LSU is going to come in fresh on game 1 because they haven't made that jump. They don't know even how to make that jump. All that will appear during the LSU-UCLA game. That's a week 1 exciting thing. That game will be on the same time as Clemson and Georgia, so we have a TV1, TV2 situation right off the jump. And then early in the afternoon, you have Miami and Alabama. That's going to be crazy exciting fun. And then Monday, Ole Miss and Louisville, second half of that game. So there's some fun games in week 1 in college football this year. And there's also some snooze fest. Haynes Keene's going to make his debut against the MAC team. Auburn is like a 37-point favorite already going into their week 1 opponent. I think it's Akron. Might be Toledo. It's some MAC school as well. It's a lot of MAC schools playing SEC schools. With what used to be a solid, unbelievable relationship between the Big Ten and the MAC, it seems like every year there are 2 or 3 teams that are playing MAC schools. Ole Miss has played Kent State. So that relationship has kind of changed. And because, like I said, the college football playoff and everything will be decided by the group of 5. That is the largest voting block in this. And they want their money. They want their chance at access. They want to get in. They want 12 teams immediately. 41 teams against 80 teams. That's not going to win at any point. Now, like I said, I'm probably going to let you out of here. There's not a lot to talk about. Tomorrow we're going to talk about week 0 a little bit, and we'll get into that Nebraska-Illinois game, and we'll talk UCLA some more. Heck, we might even get into Fresno. Who knows? We are out of topics, and hopefully with Ole Miss there will be no topics. There'll be nothing to talk about. But we will start previewing games and doing what we need to do and getting ready for next week and week 1. We are 1 week away. 1 week away from Tennessee Bowling Green. Josh Heupel's debut, probably Joe Milton behind center. That should be something worth seeing. I anticipate Tennessee to look a lot like Ole Miss last year. So it's going to be a decent number of shootouts. So I'm interested in seeing that. Also, subscribe to our Patreon. For as little as $3 a month, you can ensure shows like this and SEC After Dark and all that remain free and get extra content. That's what we're doing. Reb calls, commitment spotlight, and POMcast Extra as a pay vehicle. Those are the 3 shows that you would get access to for as little as $3. That's less than you can eat lunch on. So if you get any enjoyment out of this at all, it's absolutely worth it. Again, you can catch us on Twitter. You can do all of that stuff. So I'm very excited about what's going on, and I will absolutely see you tomorrow. And we'll talk a little bit about week 0 and everything that's going on, and get ready for that Nebraska-Illinois shootout game that's going to kick off college football. But I'm going to give you a little bit of time back. Had a lot of fun today. Everybody, hotty toddy.